There was a time when a night out to eat felt like an adventure. Neon signs lit up highways. Menus promised bottomless baskets of bread. And family dinners were often spent in chains that have since vanished without a trace. If you grew up in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, you'll remember these restaurants. Places where birthdays were celebrated, first date happened, and road trips always included a stop. Today on Nostalgia Roads, we're looking back at 15 forgotten American restaurants that once defined an era and why they disappeared. 1. Howard Johnson's. With its bright orange roofs and 28 flavors of ice cream, Howard Johnson's wasn't just a restaurant. It was a roadside tradition. Families traveling cross-country could always count on a Hojo for fried clams or a burger. But as fast food giants like McDonald's rose, Howard Johnson's lost its foothold. The last restaurant finally closed in 2017, leaving only memories of orange roofs dotting the highways. 2. Chi-Chi's. In the 80s, Chi-Chi's made Mexican food mainstream for many American families. Known for sizzling chimichangas and giant margaritas, it was fun, colorful, and full of energy. But bankruptcy and a devastating hepatitis outbreak in 2003 spelled the end. For many, Chi-Chi's was their first taste of Tex-Mex, and it's still missed today. 3. Burger Chef. Before Happy Meals, there was the Fun Meal. Burger Chef was once the second largest burger chain in America, serving flame-broiled burgers and toys for kids. At its peak, it rivaled McDonald's. But after corporate changes and competition, Burger Chef faded out by the mid-90s. Its buildings often converted into Hardee's. 4. Red Barn. You couldn't miss Red Barn. The restaurants looked just like their name, complete with barn-shaped roofs. They were famous for hearty burgers and some of the first salad bars in fast food. But by the late 80s, lease issues and declining sales shut them down. Today, those Red Barns only exist in memory. 5. Steak and Ale. Dim lighting, wood paneling, and affordable prime rib dinners. Steak and Ale was a place where families and couples alike felt classy without breaking the bank. Founded in 1966, it spread across the country before vanishing after bankruptcy in the 2000s. To this day, people remember its charm and signature honey butter croissants. 6. Bennigan's. This Irish pub-style chain was a 1980s favorite, known for potato skins, Monte Cristo sandwiches, and frosty pints. For many, it was where friends gathered after work or families went for casual nights out. But financial struggles forced it into bankruptcy in 2008, leaving only a handful of locations today. 7. ShowBiz Pizza Place. If you grew up in the 80s, you remember ShowBiz Pizza. It wasn't just food, it was the animatronic Rock-afire explosion band, arcade games, and birthday parties filled with noise and laughter. Eventually, Chuck E. Cheese took over, and the ShowBiz name disappeared. But for kids of the 80s, it was pure magic. 8. Planet Hollywood. Launched in the 90s with Hollywood celebrities behind it, Planet Hollywood was like stepping into a movie set, with props from blockbuster films and star-studded openings. It was over the top, and that was the point. But expensive overhead and fading novelty led to closures, leaving behind a few scattered locations. 9. Kenny Rogers Roasters. The country singer Kenny Rogers wasn't just known for his music. His chicken restaurants became a hit in the 90s. With juicy rotisserie chicken inside like cornbread, it was a healthier alternative to fried fast food. But competition and ownership changes drove it out of the U.S. by the 2010s, though it still exists overseas. 10. All-Star Cafe. Sports fans flocked to this short-lived 90s chain owned by Planet Hollywood. Memorabilia lined the walls, and games played on dozens of TVs. Locations in big cities, and even Disney made it exciting, but it closed by 2007 after the novelty wore off. 11. Lone Star Steakhouse and Saloon. With its Texas Roadhouse vibe, Lone Star was a 90s go-to for steaks, baked potatoes, and margaritas. At its peak, it had hundreds of locations. But changing tastes and rising competition led to closures, with the final U.S. restaurant shutting in 2019. 12. Don Pablo's. In the 90s, Don Pablo's offered big platters of fajitas, sizzling skillets, and bottomless chips and salsa. It was a Tex-Mex chain for families across America. But financial issues closed location after location, with the last one gone by 2019. 13. Victoria Station. One of the most unique chains, Victoria Station was railroad-themed, with dining rooms built inside old train cars. At its peak in the 70s, it had over 100 locations. But the novelty faded and financial troubles hit. The last U.S. locations closed by the early 90s. 14. York Steakhouse. Owned by General Mills, York Steakhouse was a cafeteria-style steak chain that prided itself on low prices and no tipping. Families loved the simple menu and casual setting. But by 1989, the concept had run its course and the chain disappeared. 15. Machismo Mouse. Based in the Pacific Northwest, Machismo Mouse was ahead of its time, offering healthier Mexican food, whole wheat tortillas, and even calorie counts on the menu. In many ways, it was a forerunner to today's fast casual trend. But it couldn't survive financially, and by 2003 it was gone. Outro, these restaurants weren't just about food. They were about atmosphere, about moments shared, about the little traditions that made growing up in the 80s and 90s feel special. Some of them disappeared quietly. Others burned bright and faded fast. But all of them remind us of a time when eating out felt a little more magical. Which of these do you remember best? Did you celebrate a birthday at ShowBiz Pizza or grab dinner at Chi-Chi's with your family? Share your memories in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us again on Nostalgia Roads, where every mile is a memory